Well, our next guest, great friend of the show, well known in the music scene all across the River City. You can catch him live on stage this Sunday, November 20th, for the Starlit Nights Cabaret, starring none other than Anthony Dowd. We welcome Anthony back to Virginia this morning. Anthony, it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Tell us about this new cabaret. It kind of tickles the senses when it comes to composers.
Well, yeah, it started out as more about family and friends, and then it turned into a relationship cabaret. So I went through Tom Lehrer and Mose Allison, which, by the way, sorry, Mose Allison just passed away yesterday. I just found out.
All right, well, a little tip of the cap to him then, right?
So yeah, Mose Allison, Tom Lehrer, Dave Frischberg, a couple of tunes by me, and so it's going from the beginnings of a relationship to the end of a relationship and all the little excuses in between.
Anthony, where did you discover your talent for tickling the ivory?
Well, we always had a piano in the house when I was growing up. My grandmother played, and my dad was pretty musical, and when I was about 6, I just started going at it and trying to figure things out, and after several years of procrastinating, I finally got around to lessons when I was 12, and by the time I got out of high school, started getting gigs around town, started making a living at it.
You really do have an appreciation for many of the legendary composers and writers and musicians. Who influenced you as a child?
Say composer-wise?
Yeah.
Actually, I grew up, I played a lot of guitar, and I'll be playing actually some guitar in the show as well. But I played a lot of folk guitar and things like that when I was a kid, so there's a lot of John Prine, John Denver, that kind of songwriting in my head. So the things I write are not really jazz. You know, I play jazz, but the songs I write are more folk-based. That's the kind of thing I grew up on.
Does that make you a stronger musician, though, all around, really?
Well, I think it does make me a better all-around player, although when I first started getting back to the singing, I thought, geez, I sound like an old folk singer trying to sing jazz, so I had to work on that, but anyway.
All right, I know you have told this story countless times, but you were playing the piano at the Jefferson Hotel back in the early 90s, and you had a little brush with greatness, as you say.
That Sinatra fellow. Yeah. The Jefferson called me a couple of days beforehand, before Frank Sinatra was in town to do some shows at the Mosque, and they told me he was coming in, and once I started my solo set, take my regular breaks from 6 to 10, once he got there at 10, no breaks, and so they came in and had dinner, and then they sat around the piano from 11 to 1, and he sang along on about a half a dozen things over the next couple of hours.
Did they say that Frank Sinatra was going to come over and sit down next to you?
Not really. Well, it's kind of one of those things where you think, oh, wouldn't that be great if that happened? But those things never really do happen, but they actually do happen. Boy. And then, and it's still a little surreal, 20-some years later.
Sort of on the outside looking back in, but you sat down.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully that's right near the top of that resume.
Yes.
Anthony, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, listen, we have, for your listening enjoyment right now, it's Anthony Dowd with Nat King Cole's jazz classic, Frim sauce. All right, smother that sauce there, Anthony.
Thanks. I don't want French fried potatoes, red ripe tomatoes. I'm never satisfied. I want the Frim sauce with the sauce and fin, with shaffa on the side. I don't want pork chops and bacon, that won't awaken my appetite inside. I want the Frim sauce with the sauce and fin, with shaffa on the side. A fella really got to eat, and a fella should eat right. 5 will get you 10. I'm gonna feed myself right tonight. I don't want fish cakes and rye bread. You heard what I said. Waiter, please serve mine fried. I want the Frim sauce with the sauce and fin, with shaffa on the side. 5 will get you 10. I'm gonna feed myself right tonight. I don't want fish cakes and rye bread. You heard what I said. Waiter, please serve mine fried. I want the Frim Fram sauce with the Austin fee, with Shafafa on the side. And if you don't have it, just bring me a check for the water.